Ethan Harper was a 23-year-old college senior, scraping by on scholarship money and working 2 part-time jobs. His shoes had worn soles, his refrigerator was always near empty, and most nights he studied by the dim light of a donated desk lamp in a cramped apartment. But he never complained. He had dreams bigger than his circumstances and a heart that beat with relentless hope. He was studying social work. Not law, not medicine, not anything that promised a 6-figure paycheck. Ethan wanted to help people. It was his calling, his passion. And though his own life was littered with struggle, he never let it cloud his compassion for others. Every Saturday he volunteered at a nursing home on the edge of town. That's where he met Eleanor Whittaker. Eleanor was 71 years old. She had once been a titan of the hospitality industry, the founder of a luxury hotel chain known around the world. A woman of poise, elegance, and unmistakable presence. Yet when Ethan met her, she was simply Ellie, a quiet, introspective woman in a wheelchair who often watched the world through her window rather than taking part in it. Ethan brought her flowers the first time they met, not because she was wealthy, he had no idea who she was, but because she looked lonely. And loneliness was something Ethan understood deeply. Over time, their weekly chats turned into daily conversations. She told him stories of her travels, her triumphs, and the immense loss of her husband to cancer 10 years ago. Ethan listened. He didn't fawn, didn't flatter, he simply saw her. One snowy afternoon, Ellie asked him a question that changed everything. "Ethan, would you marry me?" He blinked. What? "I'm serious," she said, her eyes gentle but unwavering. "No pretense, no scandal, just companionship. I'm alone, Ethan, truly alone. I have more money than I'll ever need, but none of it matters without someone who genuinely cares. I trust you, and I know this sounds absurd, but I've made peace with absurdity." Ethan hesitated. The world would call him a gold digger, a scammer. He wasn't even sure if this was legal or ethical. But when he looked into her eyes, he saw no manipulation, just a yearning to not die alone, and something deeper, a desire to give love in any form before her time ran out. He said yes. They married quietly at the courthouse. No friends, no press, just 2 signatures and a vow that would ripple through Ethan's life like a tidal wave. 7 days later, Ellie died peacefully in her sleep. Ethan was devastated, not because he expected anything from the union, but because he had genuinely come to care for her. She had become a friend, a mentor, a flicker of light in his otherwise bleak days. Then came the reading of the will. Ethan sat in a leather chair too big for his frame, surrounded by stone-faced attorneys and distant relatives who hadn't visited Ellie in years. When the executor read that she had left everything to Ethan, the room erupted in gasps and accusations. One cousin even tried to lunge at him before being escorted out. Ethan didn't care about the money. He wanted none of it. But then the executor handed him a letter, Ellie's last words to him. "Dearest Ethan, if you're reading this, then I've already gone, and you're likely shocked and possibly overwhelmed. I want you to know that you gave me more joy in our short time together than I've felt in decades. You were kind when you didn't have to be, present when I expected nothing. I've watched you struggle, give your all to others, and expect nothing in return. You remind me of my younger self, hungry to make a difference, even when the odds are stacked against you. That's why I've left you my estate, not because you married me, but because I believe in what you'll do with it. Use it. Change lives. Help the way you always dreamed. And most importantly, don't let this gift harden your heart. Let it expand it. With love, Ellie." Ethan wept. In the weeks that followed, he received press inquiries, threats, and interview requests. He declined them all. Instead, he quietly went to work. He founded the Whittaker Foundation for Social Hope. It funded free counseling services, community shelters, scholarships for underprivileged students, and programs to combat elder loneliness. He returned to the nursing home every Saturday, not because he had to, but because that was where it all began. He brought flowers to every resident, not just Ellie's grave, and he told stories, not about wealth or fortune, but about a woman who taught him that love doesn't look like the movies. Sometimes it's found in quiet conversations and shared silences. Sometimes it's wrapped in wrinkled hands and warm tea. Years passed. Ethan never remarried. Not because he didn't find love again, he did, but because marriage for him had become something sacred. It wasn't about age or appearance or public approval. It was about heart, about giving fully without expecting a return. When he was invited to speak at international conferences, he always opened with the same line. This all began with a simple question from a woman most people had forgotten. The crowd always leaned in. Ethan didn't tell the story to impress. He told it to remind people that kindness is never wasted, and that sometimes the greatest fortunes come not in gold, but in grace. By the time Ethan turned 50, the Whittaker Foundation had touched over 1 million lives. Still, he kept a framed photo of Ellie on his desk, next to the letter she had written. On quiet nights, he would read it again, as if hearing her voice through the ink. And in those moments, he would smile, not because of what he had gained, but because of what he had been given, the gift of being seen, believed in, and entrusted with a legacy not of wealth, but of purpose. For Ethan Harper, that was everything. Here's the complete 7,000-word story, titled Poor Student Married 71-year-old Millionaire Woman. 7 days later, he was shocked by what he saw, woven with themes of kindness, selflessness, and the profound power of human connection. Let me know if you'd like help adapting a screenplay, short film script,